Welcome to the Horror Hearth, where the darkness reigns supreme and the terror is always real. Tonight, we're going to delve into the darkest recesses of the human experience and explore the terrors that lurk beyond the graveyard shift. Imagine yourself working the night shift, surrounded by darkness and the silence of the dead. The only sound is the hum of fluorescent lights overhead, casting an eerie glow over the deserted hallways. You're alone, or so you think. Many of us have worked late nights, but few have experienced the true horror that lies beyond the graveyard shift. It's a realm where the living are not welcome, where the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. I want to share with you a personal story, one that has haunted me for years. It was during my time as a nurse, working the night shift at a local hospital. I had grown accustomed to the quiet, the stillness of the night. But one fateful evening, everything changed. I was making my rounds, checking on patients, when I stumbled upon a room that seemed off. The air was thick, heavy with an unseen presence. I tried to shake off the feeling, but it only intensified as I approached the bed. That's when I saw her. A patient, lying motionless, her eyes black as coal. She was staring at me, her gaze piercing my very soul. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. The next thing I knew, I was running out of the room, down the hallway, desperate to escape the horror that I had witnessed. But as I looked back, I saw her standing in the doorway, her eyes fixed on me. That was the night I realized that there's more to our world than what we can see, more to our reality than what we can comprehend. The graveyard shift is not just a time of day, it's a portal to a realm of unspeakable terror. As I delved deeper into the mysteries of the graveyard shift, I began to uncover a dark history surrounding the hospital, a history of death, of suffering, and of unspeakable terror. It seemed that the hospital had been built on an ancient burial ground, a place where the native tribes had performed their darkest rituals. And as the hospital's patients began to vanish, one by one, it became clear that something was terribly wrong. The hospital was haunted, but not by the ghosts of the dead. It was haunted by something far more sinister, something that had been awakened by the disturbance of the ancient burial ground. As I explored the hospital further, I began to experience strange and terrifying occurrences. I saw shadowy figures darting around the corners and heard disembodied voices whispering in my ear. But the most terrifying experience was yet to come. As I was exploring the hospital's basement, I stumbled upon a room that seemed off. The air was thick, heavy with an unseen presence. And then I saw it. A figure, standing in the corner of the room, watching me. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. The next thing I knew, I was running out of the room, out of the hospital, desperate to escape the horror that I had witnessed. That was the night I realized that some places are better left unexplored. Some secrets are better left unspoken. But the experience had left me changed. I was no longer the same person who had entered the hospital that night. I had been forever altered by the horrors that I had witnessed. And as I looked back on that night, I realized that the true horror was not the ghosts or the monsters. The true horror was the darkness that lurked within ourselves, the darkness that we try to keep hidden, but which ultimately consumes us. So, dear listeners, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're forced to confront the darkness within, remember that you're not alone. We're all in this together. And if you're feeling brave, join us next time on the Horror Hearth as we delve into another terrifying tale. But for now, let's take a break. Let's step away from the darkness and into the light. Because, dear listeners, the darkness is always there, waiting for us. But it's up to us to decide whether we'll let it consume us or whether we'll rise above it. The choice is ours. And now, dear listeners, I'll leave you with a question. What lies beyond the graveyard shift? Is it a place of darkness and terror, or is it a place of wonder and discovery? The answer, dear listeners, is up to you. Join us next time on the Horror Hearth as we explore more terrifying tales and delve into the darkness that lurks within. And if you're feeling brave, share your own stories of horror and terror in the comments below. Until next time, dear listeners, stay safe and stay scared. Subscribe to the Horror Hearth for more chilling stories and terrifying tales.